Greetings, MFL players. Man, we are jumping into the technological age with the YouTube video update. Let me welcome you to our very first video update in MFL history. I wanted to go over a couple of things with some folks as far as the way to navigate some things through the site. I guess the first thing I will tell you, if you need to know, probably the most important bit of information is I have submitted my 3 bids to a neutral party. There's a timestamp if you ever want to see it. Feel free to ask. No one ever has, but just know that I am set. And if you are ready to submit your bids to me, you may do so. You can text them to me. You can email them to me. You can direct message through Sleeper if you want to. Definitely don't put your bids on the chat for everyone to see. It is a silent process, and you don't want to tip your hand, so to speak. So you can start sending bids to me. You have until this Sunday evening. Right now it is, August the 7th. So August the 10th. Let's just call it like 6 o'clock Tulsa time. Probably would be a decent deadline, if you will. I would like to have a video put together as an update Sunday evening, and then at the very latest put that out Monday morning, something like that. But if I could, I'd put it out Sunday. So that'll be the way I kind of communicate with you guys. I feel like that might be a little better and easier time-wise on my end. I can tell you I'm not teaching this year, so I've got time. Last year was a little hectic on a lot of levels, and I'm kind of on a career limbo at the moment. So lucky for us, I get to focus in on new technologies and new communication methods, and that's a good thing, I think. So here's what I wanted to show you. I've got Sleeper pulled up on my PC. Now, most of us, I think, are using our phones. So it looks a little different on the PC, but the concept, if you will, is pretty much the same. You're just learning where to click, and all that stuff is going to be a little bit different. So I wanted to first of all show you, you've got 2 different clocks on whether you're on your phone or on your PC. You got your keeper clock and you got your draft board clock. Okay. You should know that as we sign players, as we match players, as we franchised players, and then eventually as we keep players, you're going to have to be the one that actually goes in and edits your keepers. So you'll see here, this is mine. I've got Amon-Ra here. If you hit edit, all you got to do is go in and put a check mark next to, if I want to franchise Evan Ingram, I'd do that, but I don't want to. And then you just hit save, and then it would save them. If you sign a player off another team, you're going to have to wait for me to make that roster adjustment before you can go in and do your keepers. And I'll just be in touch with you on that, and I'll let you know, hey, go ahead and keep that player now. Ideally, what's supposed to happen here is by the time we get through all the silent bidding and by the time we get to putting our keeper list together, you will do so before this clock here runs out of time on the keepers. You'll notice there's 1 day between keeper deadline and draft. That 1 day is going to be the day that I then go in, set the salaries on your keepers, assign them to your draft board, and then the computer will do the math as far as how much salary cap room you have left. It will allow you to have your rookie money, whatever remaining salary cap money that you have left, available to you for the live auction. You will notice that the keeper limit is actually out of 20. Not everyone's going to have 20 keepers. Everyone has 12. And again, that 12 pretty much includes all players that you franchise, sign, match, and keep. Okay. The one thing I'm throwing in this year, I didn't hear any objections, and I did mention this last year. So if you are an objector, you need to speak up soon. That's for sure. To me, if you sign a player off of another team, that should not take one of your keeper spots. It seems like it's a penalty in a way. And what I've noticed, especially with my team, is I'm active in the silent bidding. Therefore, it turns out my salary structure is very top heavy if I sign a lot of players off of other teams. And I kind of get penalized for being active in the silent bidding market. And I don't know if that's necessarily the spirit of the way that's supposed to work. That is my philosophical short explanation of why I'm doing it. I can tell you this is, again, my favorite league ever. And the only thing I ever do is just try to make it better for everybody. And, I'm not trying, believe me, I'm not trying to gain any competitive advantage. I had the worst team last year. So if I am trying to gain an advantage, it is not working. That's for sure. So anyway, prior to the end of this clock on keepers, you're going to have to get all of your keepers set. So that'll probably be in the neighborhood of like 12 to 15 players, depending on how many you were able to sign off of other teams. Potentially, if all 8 of your bids go through and you get all 8 players, you could have 20 keepers. That would be impressive if you were able to do that. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Bidding is going to go in a 3-round format. We're going to do 3 bids. And then, of course, it'll be match, no match, bid again, match, no match. Then we'll do another 3 bids, same sequence. And then we'll do another 2 bids. So it'll be 3, 3, 2. And generally speaking, this takes about 8 days to get through all of it. I am expecting this year, especially with a new member, it might be a little longer, but I think we've got time. I think it'll be fine. So make sure, again, prior to our draft date, that you've got your keepers done. You'll notice for some reason they've set the draft time at 8:23 Mountain Time. I might make that 8:30 Mountain Time, which I think would be 9:30 Tulsa time. If that's too late, somebody let me know. But it is Labor Day weekend, so people might be busy that day. If we need to move it, to say 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock Tulsa time, we can do that. I think we just start it at 8:30 my time, 9:30 your time, and then we can pause if we need to or whatever. Or we can even move it earlier if people want to do that. So we can be in touch on that. But I think that pretty much covers it. Here's our draft room, by the way. And I would point out real quick, a few of us down here have our keepers from last year still selected. So like, for example, Raheem Mostert should not be selected. Elliott shouldn't be picked. Debo, stuff like that. Not to pick on Kevin, but just know that if you've still got keepers here selected from last year, you need to deselect those. Unless you end up either matching or keeping them later, then you would reselect them. The only people right now who should be on here are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jaden Daniels, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua. I think there was a couple other players that were franchised. Those are the only ones that should be on the keeper lists for right now. So just so you know, this is the draft board. This is where we'll be. I did do the draft last year on PC, and I think it is better, at least draft-wise, to do it with a bigger screen and be able to navigate easier, I think. But that's up to you guys, however you want to do it. And, of course, if you can't make it to the draft, you can set your you can definitely set your queue. You can set your dollar amounts and that sort of thing, and the computer can handle it for you. I would point out right now it shows max 519. That has not been updated from last year yet. I put in the chat that we have updated that. And speaking of the chat, let's go there. Here is the chat on the PC. It's just over here on the right. And I would like to point out this little thumbtack right here. Anytime I post something that I feel like people might have to go back and look at again, I pin that post. And so what you can do is, to get through all this junk who's maybe it's important, maybe it's not, you can hit that little thumbtack. And here's, for example, a pretty long list of things that I posted recently about how we're going to work things. Here is the spreadsheet, which I hope this is the last year we have to use the spreadsheet, because I think Sleeper's going to handle that for us if I do this right. But you should be able to get into that. Spreadsheet is only in points. It's not in dollars anymore. To me, that was just an extra step that we don't need to do anymore. So if you're looking at 10% raises, just take that point total, give them a 10% raise if that's what you're looking to do, to make a minimum bid or whatever. You just use the point totals and don't worry about the dollars. If it helps you in your brain, you can divide any point total still pretty much by 2, and that'll give you the millions, if you know what I mean, how many millions it would have been, because each point is kind of $500,000, something like that. So, but I just felt like that was a step we could eliminate. But there's your spreadsheet. If you have trouble accessing that, let me know. And that'll tell you what your minimum bids can be on your silent bids, because you can't bid under what the current salary is. You got to go at least 10% higher. It says right here, salary cap for this season will be 559 points. You can convert that to millions if you want to. Bidding will be old school this time. We'll do text, email, direct message, stuff like that. And I think we're starting early enough that it's not going to really be a huge hurry. So it'll be a lot less stressful than last year. And again, my hope is once our new member, my fiance Cassandra, learns the process, she's going to start looking at doing an app. This is still kind of on the back burner because we're very busy these days, but we're going to give it a try. By the way, I do have already paid for this season 4 teams. We're going to do $10. You can Venmo me. You can mail me $10. You just let me know how you want to do it. But several teams have already paid in for this year, and I got to be honest with you. If it's a problem, if it's a struggle, if it's you just can't handle it technologically or financially, I'll cover you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. That's for sure. A couple of rule updates and stuff that I did post here. Here are your franchise salaries in case you're wondering where I came up with the 120 for quarterbacks and where I came up with the 101 for wide receivers. That's where that came from, and that was figured from last year's salaries. I took the top 5, I made an average, I added 10%, and that's where we come up with those franchise numbers. So sometimes they go up, as you can see with quarterbacks. Sometimes they go down, as you can see with running backs. Just be aware. Here's your carryover money. This is all still in the pinned messages. So if you participate in the silent bidding, you will get a little more money added to that. But that money will not be going down. It will only be going up if you make your bids. So just be aware of that. And that money won't show up until after the silent bidding is over, and I can add it to whatever you have left on your salary cap, unspent salary cap money. Okay. So check out those pinned messages. If you ever do want to just look through the whole chat, you can see every transaction and everything as it appears there. So I think that pretty much covers it. If you need some kind of a setting review, you can take a look at that. We do have a little bit of some odd settings, 6-point touchdowns for passes and stuff like that. That's old school, but I've always loved that about our league. So if you're interested in talking about some changes, we probably need to do that for next year, not this year. But if anyone's got some ideas, I'm always open to it. And I will say I'm always down for, if I get no objections, I assume we're all either abstaining or cool with it. If I get 1 or 2 people, that's all it really takes, who say they don't like something, that's usually enough for me to say, okay, we don't have to do it. I kind of almost feel like everyone should get almost like a veto power rather than majority rule, if that makes sense. So, and we've all got lives, and it's just, I think about this maybe more than everybody else does. So if there's ever something you hate, you definitely need to let me know. We're not doing the matchup against the league average this year. But I do still love the idea of if you're 500, you make the playoffs. So if you're the 7th team and you're 7-7, I'm going to get you in. If you're 6-8, I don't feel like you should necessarily get in, but we'll always take at least 6. Half the league will make the playoffs. So if it ever gets to 8, that would be really interesting. That must mean we have a couple of really bad teams if that happens. But if we get 8 teams at 7-7 or better, then I can just easily reconfigure the bracket, and we'll just do it that way. But to me, 7's the lucky number. If you make that 500 mark, you're in the playoffs. And we had somebody, I think it was John, who missed the playoffs at 7-7, and then in the playoffs, his team went off. Like, they were really good. And I just always felt like if you finish 500, then you should probably at least get in and get your shot. So, that's the way I see it. A little more explanation than I kind of was planning on, but I'm going to plan on hopefully Sunday evening having an update for you guys on the first round of bidding, and I'll post that again on a video, and then I'll try to send out some specific people texts and stuff telling them what they need to do. But until I see you again on the video, stay safe out there.